volume warning, fellas. Good morning, PokeMMO community. How are we doing today, fellas? What is up? My name's Patrouski. Welcome back to our PokeMMO stream recap. It is bright and early, 9:53 a.m. That's bright and early for a gamer, okay? We are starting day 14 of the Lunar New Year event. There is 1 day and 21 hours left. Now, if my pitiful math is correct, this is effectively the second final day of the event, at least for my time zone, right? If it's not, it's 10 a.m. now, in 24 hours, it's going to be 10 a.m. tomorrow, right? And then by then, we'll have less than 24 hours. The event is going to end at like 6 a.m. in my time zone, right? That effectively means tomorrow, March 5th, Thursday is effectively the final day of the Lunar New Year event in 2026. It had a rough start, don't get me wrong. It was off to a rough start, but I think it shaped up pretty nicely. I had a lot of fun in the event. I saw a lot of people making some good money, have a lot of fun, getting cool shinies, swarm shinies. I think overall it was pretty darn successful after a rough start. Now, we have a catch event to do today in 6 minutes. Today's stream recap is going to be a little weird, a little strange, a little out of structure. I hope you guys still enjoy. We'll be doing the intro stuff, covering the catch events and covering the achievement showcase after maybe a few questions and after the catch event. So I'll probably see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoy it, dislike if I'm stinky, and subscribe for daily PokeMMO videos. Dude, I really appreciate that. It's super nice of you to say, Zurich. Zurich said, hey man, congrats on getting all the raids done. They were really tough this event, especially for Iron Man. Dude, I appreciate that, and the same goes for anybody else who completed the raids, whether you're an Iron Man account or a main account. Raids in Pokemon, I think they get normalized to us Turbo Online endgame players like myself, you know? I was talking to an IRL friend last night at a bar about a similar thing, and the same thing happened in the Destiny community, where like 2% of players do the raids in Destiny, maybe do like a raid, right? I would bet you like 1 to 2% of Pokemon players do raids. Like, so few people do raids. And then you have the endgame community who talked about raids being too, and it's not, no one's really wrong, it's just a tough position. I see a lot of endgame players complaining raids are too easy and too repetitive to previous years, but then new players aren't even attempting them because they're so hard. And it's one of those things. I think permanent raids really fixes that, in my opinion. Well, at least fixes it for the new players. We can at least to some extent fix something, right? But it is a tough situation where endgame players find raids too easy and too repetitive, except for I think Virizion and Cobalt. The permanent ones do a really good job, in my opinion, of difficulty and balance, in my opinion, obviously. But it's this weird impasse of like, how do you balance around that as a dev when the endgame players think the content's too easy because they play the game so much and they're so good, versus the new players like don't do them at all. Surely more than 2%. I don't know, man. I wish the devs put out more data. I feel like endgame players of PokeMMO don't understand that the average player is someone who doesn't watch YouTube videos, the average player of a video game doesn't watch content for that game. They don't watch guides. They just load up, they play a little bit, they have some fun, maybe put like a few, you know, 10s or 200 hours into something like that. Like, well, not for most, but for PokeMMO, you see it a fair bit. Like, the average player is very yeah, the average player doesn't play PvP. They don't, like, maybe they shiny hunt a little bit, maybe. Probably not actively. The average player will never get like 30,000 encounters. And I'm not saying we shouldn't balance the game around average players. Don't get me wrong. They must be considered. You want to average the game around both average players and hardcore players, right? So it's just this tough scenario, man, you know? I just think it's important. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying to change anything. I'm just saying it's good perspective, right? I love new players and average players. Please leave comments, please leave perspectives. Someone said, I consider myself an average player at the moment. The storyline went pretty easy for me, but the Poke League feels unbeatable. The average player gets stuck at the Elite Four for like a few days. Like, it's tough, man. It's a learning curve, and PokeMMO is a really difficult game. People will go from like speed running run and bun, or like speed running ROM hacks, and then come to PokeMMO and be like, oh my god, I don't understand why all these players are so bad. And it's like, brother, you've put 10,000 hours into Pokemon. What do you like? I think I've told it before. I think there's a because gaming has been talked down on for so many people's lives. People don't consider being good at video games a skill, but it absolutely is, and you should be proud of that and keep that in mind. You're probably just good at games. Like, some video gamers literally won't accept the fact that they're good at games. you're good at games, King. Like, you're a fucking scholar and a kid. Like, you're awesome. Like, don't discredit yourself. Like, you are good at games. And I think the real competitors, I get this, right? The real competitors will be like, I'm fine at games, but I'm not even top 1%. So, like, am I really that good? I run into a lot of gamers who they say that, you know, and it's like, yes, I get that. That's the competitive winners mentality. I totally get it. And you can talk about that in regards to yourself, but in regards to other people, try to keep perspective, right? That's all I'm trying to say. I totally get that. Like, if I was like, if I'm playing Overwatch, I'm like, yeah, I peaked at like low masters, 3600. I'm fucking trash, you know. Like, the difference between masters and top 500 is like a whole building. The difference between top 500 and pro players is like worlds apart. Like, that's true, right? That's all true. But it can also be said that, like, masters is still like top 15 or top 10%. It's not, you know, when the average player is like plat or gold, like it has to be. I'm not saying I'm good at Overwatch, you know what I'm saying, but like, you have to keep perspective. I don't know, it's just one of those, like, it's okay. I feel like gamers are so afraid to admit, I have this problem too. Gamers are so afraid to admit we're good at anything, or like that anything is above average even. It's okay. It's not an ego. It doesn't need to be an ego thing. It's okay to just acknowledge, like, you might be good at video games, King. You've put a lot of hours into them. That's okay. You should be proud of that, man, compared to the average person, you know? That's a good thing. Absolutely an amazing point from Shaduk. PokeMMO is an MMORPG, so I'd say that there are like many contents that people can be very average or newbie at in some ways, and then other where they're amazing. Yeah, dude, I always say, like, I think of myself as a decent to good shiny hunter, where I'm probably like top 1,000 or 2,000 shunters. You know, at my peak, I was probably like top few hundred shunters in the game. I was pretty good, right? I don't really grind as much obviously nowadays, but I used to be like pretty good at shiny hunting, and I'm pretty dedicated. When I really lock in, I shunt 16 hours a day, and I could do that for quite a while and be consistent, right? Same with like RuneScape. Like in RuneScape, I was top 1,000 efficient hours played, and when I was locked in, I was pretty good, right? Having said that, like, RuneScape's honestly a better example. In RuneScape, I was one of the best skillers in the game at one point, and it wasn't because, you know, I was amazingly mechanically gifted. I was just a big grinder, and I had the endurance and dedication, right? If you asked me to, I couldn't raid. I couldn't do a raid. I had to get carried for like an achievement diary, you know? Like, I sucked at PVM in old RuneScape, but it's not what I played. It's not what I enjoyed, right? And like, you'll always run into people. There will be raiders who will be like, "Oh my god, what a skilling loser! Like, all you do is skill," and it's like, that's just what I like, you know. Versus like the skilling nerds will be like, pushes up glasses. "Oh my goodness, you don't even 3-tick 4G at 200% efficiency. What are you even doing, nerd?" Like, and it's like, it's people. We gotta just. I think it's the best part of MMOs is understanding that there's different elements of the game that people can be good and bad at. I suck at PvP. I'm probably about. I still put a fair bit of hours in. I'm probably about like 40% or like 50. What's the math? Like, I'm like 40. I'm in the bottom half of PvP players for sure. Meaning like worst half, you know. But I'm good at. I think I'm decent at shiny, or good at shiny hunting when I logged in. You know, I have about 60 OT shinies in PokeMMO. That's much more than the average player. But now, having said that, there are players with 150 OT shinies at this point that blow me out of the water, you know. It's that double perspective of acknowledging like the average player, the gap of the average player to the peak is obviously so. That's what makes it beautiful, you know. And just keeping in mind that there's just so many different things in PokeMMO and in every game to be good at. You don't have to be. You're not going to be good at everything. You can't be good at everything. If you spend, I would say, like, if you spend 8 hours a day shiny hunting and then 8 hours a day playing PvP, which is obviously ridiculous. 16 hours of PokeMMO is like way too much every day, right? But if you did that, you still would you'd be behind on both, right? If you put 8 hours a day into PvP and 8 hours a day in shiny hunting, someone else is doing 14 of one, right? And they're getting ahead, or 12 or even 10, right? I say this about like concentration a lot. Like, it's weirdly, I got worse at PokeMMO when I started making content, but I got better at content creation. It's just different skills. Let me go heal really quick, excuse me. If you're a content creator and you spend 8 hours making content, scripting videos, editing, exporting, thumbnails, timestamps, brainstorming, etc., even if you spend 16 hours a day on that thing, which obviously I'm married, I have things to do in a life, right? Might shocker, I can't do that. If I have 16 hours a day to theoretically to spend on PokeMMO, if I spend 8 hours a day playing PokeMMO and 8 hours a day making content, someone putting 10 hours a day is always going to be ahead of me in terms of PokeMMO. Like, you only have so much time to put into the day, and that's okay. That's a beautiful thing, you know. We're just rambling. We're a lot of rambling today, but hopefully that obviously makes a lot of sense and shouldn't be a hot take by any means. Dude, people are asking for investment advice in Pokemon. I made a LUNAR investment guide that I recommend checking out if you haven't seen it. Not financial advice, just my personal opinions. But I like one of the biggest ones and one of the most interesting things we're talking about is the Halloween or the event PvP mystery boxes. People keep asking me, you know, what do you think they could do, Patrouski? What's your what's based on your experience? What do you think could happen with these? Brother and Arceus, I have no idea. My experience does nothing for these because we don't know. We've never seen these before. This is the first ever cycle, and that I guess the experience could be talking about first event cycle things. This is the first time we've ever seen these. It is a new sealed product, and I guess if you want to take that with a grain of salt, every time we've seen a first time sealed product, look at Lucky Red 2019. That was the first time they were introduced. 1.2 mil. Look at Mysterious Balls 2023s. That was the first time they were really introduced. Let's do Mysterious like Pokeball, I guess. 36k there. I'm a big fan. I've talked about Mysterious Great Ball 2023s a ton. Big fan of these. 73k. You got your Ultras. You have your Premieres. Mysterious Balls existed in 2022 as well, but they didn't have the same shiny rate. They're more of a collector's item as opposed to a pragmatically usable thing, similar to the 2023 ones. They didn't have the boosted shiny rate to my knowledge. So like if you want to talk about like first time cycles of things, yeah, I mean they can be pretty expensive, but will this follow that same trend? I'd like to think so, but we just don't. We don't have history. We don't have history on the mystery boxes. They've never existed before until this exact event season cycle. So it's exciting. It's interesting for sure. But I don't have a whole lot to add to it besides looking back at previous first cycles. Yeah, so someone just, as a good talking point, someone just asked when's the next event in Pokemon. My instinct was to say Halloween, but then someone said, what about Shiny Wars? And I want to change my my language. I think Shiny Wars should be considered a mainstay holiday of an event of PokeMMO. Obviously, it's not the same as the holiday events. There's less content for the average player. There's less physical changes to the game, much less, right? However, it does affect the economy at large, right? Shiny Wars is incredible for the economy for a number of reasons. Ditto prices go up. It sinks a lot of Pokeyen out of the game. Fossil prices go up. If you're a grinder or a farmer just trying to grind Pokeyen, Shiny Wars is amazing for you, as well as Shiny Wars is like amazing for the economy because it's all of the hyper endgame turbo online players funneling their Pokeyen into the grinders and the hardworking like average casual player if you want to put in the time, right? It's like it is literally one of the most amazing examples of like the endgame players will go so hard to win Shiny Wars just for the fucking glory and the limited vanities that they will. We had players spending over 1 billion Pokeyen in Shiny Wars last year. Players spending hundreds of millions of Pokeyen, their entire capital, all their net worth, right? And it was all funneling into the Ditto farmers, into the fossil farmers, into the Mysterious Ball investors or farmers. Like you have a really good opportunity as a grinder and a farmer to funnel some of that endgame Pokeyen into the new players' hands if you just grind or put in the efforts during Shiny Wars and during that event and can get into contact. And also, it's a great Shiny Wars is also a great way for new players to build connections and get an in with endgame players. One of the coolest things last year was seeing like I saw players who met Team Mr. members, or this is like literally trickle down economics, but for real, like not a scam as Shiny Wars, basically, unironically. But so there were players last year who like met Team Mr. members or met high-end shiny hunters by selling them Ditto boxes. They were like they were a no name in the community. Nobody knew them. They built a name for themselves by grinding Ditto boxes, consistently supplying those Ditto boxes to the high-end players, and then that allowed them to build connections, build bridges, get into those teams, learn the strats, learn resources, and like it's just. Shiny Wars is such an amazing opportunity for everybody in the game to make a name for themselves, whether you're a shiny hunter or whether you're a grinder. Shiny Wars is so amazing, dude. I can't recommend it enough. Like being actively involved around it and keeping an eye around it when it happens. Great question, Pat. What happens historically to the player base and the economy after the last of the event of the year? So after Lunar New Year event, does the game go into a hibernation? I think a few years ago it did for like a few months. The game will often go into a little bit of a slower state post Lunar New Year event, to be honest with you, right? Post Lunar New Year event until the summertime. So for like 3 months, from like March until May to June, the market slows down a bit as people have just spent a bunch of their pokeyen, they've made investments, etc., etc. The last 2 years we saw the opposite, and it's interesting. The last 2 years, as the game has grown, we were seeing player bases rise post event season, and I don't know if that'll happen this year. We really just don't know. History, the Pokemon is changing so much. We're in that renaissance period over the past few years, despite the problems, right? It's getting harder and harder to predict things because the game is changing so much, and there's more and more players coming in right now. So for those who haven't heard, there's been a massive French streamer and other French content creators playing the game, which has also been a huge growth spurt. Like, it's not just the normal things we have to factor in. You also want to factor in, like, a lot of times I notice you would think that Pokemon player base would rise during like the events, especially like during the Christmas event. I often find that, especially during the Christmas event, the player base actually drops off a fair bit because people are busy. It turns out Pokemon players are like 30 years old, 35 years old, a lot of times on average, like 25 to 35. They have families. They have wives and husbands and partners. They are not playing Pokemon during the holidays, or at least don't have as much time, right? A lot of times I notice that during Christmas, the player base dips, and then after event season, people are overwhelmed by they're excited. A lot of players I find are excited for event season to end so they can get back to what they love doing, as opposed to feeling pressured by the event season itself. So we've just seen both happen historically. If you're asking historically, we've seen both, where the game has risen post event season and had hibernation states, like you said. So what will happen this year? I don't know, man. We'll have to see, man. Dude, I love this. One of my favorite things in PokeMMO is, as a newer player, stumbling upon a catch event and saying, "What is this? What's happening here?" It's one of the best things that can happen in It's so cute, man. It's so wholesome. I love that shit so much. I guess I could do a quick clip on this. This date could change, and the video will hopefully come out as soon as possible. But I think my boycott, which more details will come soon. If you haven't seen the stream recap I've talked about before, the Pokemon boycott that I have planned will probably be from March 16th to March 22nd, most likely. And I would love for as many people to join that as possible. The more people, the more power that we have as consumers, and the more voices that will hopefully get heard, regardless of, of the opinions and such. So we'll have to see. That's my current schedule, and another video and more details will come out about that as soon as possible. Alrighty, fellas, catch events are coming in 4th place with Naveen with 19 points. Congratulations to you, man. I think it's like 250 or 500 RP coming your way during event season, man. Congratulations. Next up, 3rd place, Yanko with a 165. 165 is a decently low 3rd place. We're gonna see some cool winners here, man. Obviously, we see the catch time as well. I wonder if did someone tie? I'm not sure, but congrats to Yanko for 3rd place. Next up, 2nd place. Yeah, a tie at 165. This was a lesser competitive and a difficult to catch Pokemon catch event. Wow, 165. Meike, congratulations on 2nd place. Wait, someone in chat caught like a 165 or a 166, didn't they? Someone in chat got something. Did the person in chat who got the 165, did you get 3rd or 2nd? We're waiting for 1st place. A little bit of a delay here waiting for 1st place. I'm sure we'll see it here. Here we go. And then in 1st place with a 167 goes to Ignu. Wasn't that guy in chat? Wait, that was me. I got it. Yo, congrats, dude. That was someone in chat. Nice, dude. Nice. Hell yeah, man. Congrats, dude. 167 1st place. That's incredibly 10 a.m. is too early, man, for gamers, apparently. Like, I love trying to come to these early 10 a.m. catch events early, for us losers, right? Me, I'm a loser. Come to these 10 a.m. catch events with no shiny prizes. Your odds of winning go dramatically up, dude. 167 1st place is pretty low and sick to see, man. Congratulations to you, Ignu, man. Hell yeah, dude, congratulations. All right, fellas, welcome to the beginning of the PokeMMO stream recap. All right, guys, we have to cover this now. Good morning. It's nice to see you guys for the first time today. How are you doing? Type it in the comments. All right, welcome to the PokeMMO stream recap. Let's go ahead and cover the catch events upcoming. We do have 2 catch events, the same 2 rare shiny prize catch events. I'm going to skip through these details very quickly, but you've got to know that these are coming up. I have had a lot of people DMing me on Discord or asking me questions recently. Hey, Patrouski, what are catch events? Or how do I know about catch events? When are catch events? You don't even have to watch every stream recap. Only use my content as a tool for you if it entertains you or helps you have fun or helps your gameplay, right? I always try to encourage that. Dude, if you just watch the first like 5 minutes of one stream recap a week, you'll know about most catch events, if not all catch events coming up. Okay, that's the real, or check out the forums, right? But this catch event, March 6th at 10 a.m. ET, there is a catch event coming up with Shiny Lapras as the prize. Incredibly amazing. This is like an 800-hour shiny hunt, if not more, on average. Incredibly difficult shiny hunt, incredibly rare shiny. Insane to see this as a catch event prize. You could save hundreds of millions of pokeyen and hundreds of hours, potentially thousands of hours, on a shiny hunt by simply winning this event. This is a big deal. Show up to this if you can on the 6th of March on Friday. Next up, a shiny Shuckle catch event on the 8th of March at 2 p.m. ET at Route 40 in Johto. There is a shiny Shuckle up for grabs. Another incredibly rare, you know, potentially 100 hours of shunts. Very cool, very difficult shiny, man. Try to win it if you can. Good luck to anybody participating. And then finally, we have one forum post that I wanted to cover. I don't have any thoughts. I have no personal opinions. I can't weigh in on this discussion because it is out of my depth. But I thought it was presented very well, very respectfully. And I think it's really important to amplify expert voices in fields of the game that even I don't know PvP nearly enough to really have much of a voice here or add on to this. But Razzie Move made a pretty respectful, like amazing post talking about since, you know, the game is changing a lot, given what we're getting for OU in specific, can we revisit old problems? And he talks about the idea of upping the base power for Outrage. In PokeMMO, the base power for Outrage is 90, making it pretty unusable. In the traditional games, it's like, what, 110 or 120, I believe? Maybe we could find some middle ground, making it 100 or making it 110, and kind of buffing that move for certain Pokemon. Gallade Sharpness was considered too strong and banned out, but now we have Terrakion, which apparently is, like, very, very powerful right now. Yeah, we're getting some pretty oppressive Pokemon, he says. Terrakion and Keldeo, and stuff like Gallade could actually be a potential check to one of them. Not only that, but given that we get to use them, Regenerator Slowbro just got added to the game as well. Regenerator Metaspam and everything else. Is it time to actually see if Outrage could be too much for the meta as well? So just revisiting, re-asking questions, and rethinking and reconsidering things that were too strong for the game in the past. Maybe they're fine now with things like Terrakion, Keldeo. I don't know the answer to that, but I think it's important to amplify that voice and promote that discussion. All right, next up, on to the Achievement Showcase. I love the Achievement Showcase. This is your guys' achievements being shown off to flex the average PokeMMO player, as well as give you guys some ideas on what you could shoot for today. First things first, not really an achievement showcase, but I don't like to highlight YouTube comments, but this one was too funny to me. I did blur out his name as I don't want anybody harassing him. I did delete the comment. Don't worry, you can't go find it. No bullying allowed here. This guy said, hey man, I'm on mobile and I was playing with an auto clicker for 1 minute and they sent me a ban. What the heck? Can you tell me a way to make this app work long term? Please, I don't have enough time as a student. This is the ban system at work. Hell yeah. Get banned. What are you doing? What do you mean an unfair? What do you mean? You should get banned. I'm so glad that you got banned after trying to use it for 1 minute. Bro, using autoclaver for 1 minute and got banned. He survived 1 minute. That's fucking awesome. That is the ban system at work. That's amazing. I'm glad, dude. You cannot cheat, get an unfair advantage, and be like, hey man, how can I keep cheating? Brother, what are you doing? What are you doing? I just thought it was funny. I'm glad. Yeah. Hey, I was cheating. Like, dude, what are you doing? Anyways, I thought it was based. That's the cheating system, or the ban system working well. That's a good thing, man. You should 1 minute. He lasted 1 minute. That's impressive. Anyways. Next up, the positive achievements. The amount of new players or newer players I'm seeing achieve really cool stuff. Newer Pokemon players are getting so much better, man. This player with 175 hours getting Shaman done, there's no way at 175 hours I would have been able to do this. I was so bad at 175 hours played, man. I had so much to learn. This is amazing. This is super fucking cool, man. Congratulations to Woody. Anything is possible. New players can achieve Shaman. Congratulations, excuse me. Next up, similar story from Dragon Lord. A huge shout out. He thanks the people who helped him get there. A newer player who got Shaman. A huge shout out to Monkey, Chad Charisma, Low-Key, MVP Monkey for leading us in catching my first ever PokeMMO Legendary. This was my first raid event, and before Shaman, I was able to solo everything but slacking. This was one hell of a journey, and I feel great pride being able to show it. Those who helped me, and those who helped me get there. Thank you to everyone. This is really fucking cool, man. Shout out to Dragon Lord for doing this, man. Super beautiful to see. Next up, Poppin' Zed. First ever legendary, and it's on my Ironman account. Took 69 turns of sleep and Ultra Balls. If you can, not to backseat, if you can, bring timer balls are so much better. Oh my goodness, please bring timer balls to a legendary fight. It might struggle itself to death if you don't bring timer balls type thing. Congrats though. Your first legendary on an Ironman account is huge, man. And also, Articuno is relevant now. Articuno, like, we used Articuno in the recent, was it Shaman raid? One of the recent raids, I think it was Shaman or Gyarados, to lead the fight with Mist. So Articuno is actually relevant in raids now, which is sick. Next up, I called this the Puddle Shiny clip. I started playing PokeMMO on January 16th. It is now February 20th, and I got my first shiny Pokemon from a horde while Zoro was shiny hunting. And then, just 379 encounters later, he misstepped on a puddle and got his second shiny with a shiny Shelmet. I feel like we've all had that moment where we're like on the way to our shiny hunt and we like misstep and get one encounter and we're like, oh fuck, what if that was shiny? This guy actually did it. That's the funny thing, is like this guy actually like had it happen. That's what a nice, I love you, Alice. I respect that reflection. Much love to you. That was, I love Twitch chat. Anyways, this guy Drexstein, he says nothing too special but still feels good. I would bet you that less than, I don't know, I'm guesstimating to be fair, so bear with me. I would guesstimate that less than like 1 to 5, maybe 5, if we're highballing 5%, less than 5% of PokeMMO players. Probably, I would bet you it's less than 1% of PokeMMO players that get Shaman. That might be too extreme. The average PokeMMO players are not doing raids, man. This is impressive. This is impressive. If you can get all raids done and get Shaman, not the average players aren't doing that. It's too hard. I'm lucky to be at the position where I'm at, where I can talk to and engage with and see the average player. Raids are too hard for the average player. I've talked about, I think I rambled earlier about how like a lot of the endgame players complain that raids are too easy, which I think is valid and a fair critique, but also beginners think they're too hard. So it's this not even beginners, but just the average player. It's this tough situation of what do you do? My point being that this is really fucking impressive, Drex. Yeah, this is really impressive. Yeah, someone in chat, I have a great respect for people who do the raids. I started a literal decade ago and I'm not in a position to do them still. It's harder than we like to let on, because we have once you get all the resources, once you learn, once you put thousands of hours into PokeMMO and you've learned everything, yeah, of course they're easy to you, but they're hard to learn and hard to get into. Even though they're possible and anybody can do them, it takes a lot of work and effort, right? And time. Next up, Taddy Stone. Never interacted with the Safari Zone in my life before, so I decided to go for Lapras. You know, a shiny hunter is getting a little crazy when they start going to the Safari Zone for kicks, which I love as a shunter. I love it so much. First ever Safari Zone shiny I ever encountered at 16,000 encounters, a Poliwag. I was so excited before I realized I could not catch it, but thankfully he did. Congratulations on your first Safari shiny is a big deal. It's like almost like your first shiny kind of again, like that moment again to some extent. It's a man, whether you catch or lose your first shiny in the Safari Zone, it's the next chapter. I really do feel like it starts a whole new chapter in your shunting career, man. It's a different feeling, the Safari shunt. And I've only had one, and I've been shunting there a fair bit, but only ever gotten one. It's a crazy feeling. Next up, dude, Winter. I finally got my first ever shiny in a Pokemon game, and I'm happy beyond words. I literally started playing 1 month ago. Your first shiny in any Pokemon game. Your first shiny in any Pokemon game ever, and you went 94,000 encounters dry in PokeMMO, the like hardest shunting game. How did you survive, bro? How did you make it? How do you start shiny hunting in your first ever Pokemon game and make it to 94k dry? I always say, like, the reason you don't see a whole lot of players who are like, here's my first shiny, I went 100k dry for it, because they don't make it there. They give up. As any normal human would. It takes a little bit of psychopathicness to make it and to grind that hard and to get to that point. Winter, congratulations. This is immensely, incredibly, this is a legendary first shiny in my opinion. Immensely, incredibly, intensely impressive if you ask me. Congratulations, man. To get to that point is insane. And that is our final achievement show, because I hope you guys have enjoyed today. Let's go ahead and jump into more rambles and more questions for the stream recap, of course. Dude, if you ever want to see how much PokeMMO has changed in terms of, number one, how competitive the players are, and also number two, like what the game's capable of, this used to be a usable, like not a good comp, but like people would be running around. This was the average competitive Pokemon back in 2013. This Blossom. 7 defense IV, 12 HP, 28 attack, 18 speed. Now, I doubt this person was like high elo, but a bunch of my old comps used to look like this. It has, because it's timid. It has the right nature. Oh, you have the right nature? It's usable. It's got 20. You got it. Because also back then, the IVs didn't show in game like this. They would be a calcable range. You had to like use an outside tool to calc them. It would say like at levels 1, it would be like the Spatak is 0 to 31, and then if you leveled it up to like level 20, it would say like 25 to 31, and you didn't know which one, which that matters a lot. Like the difference of a speed IV being like 30 or 31 was a big deal, so you have to like calc things manually. Everything was much slower. EV training took like 16 hours. Breeding was, the obvious change is breeding was way different. But if you ever want to like know how much the game has changed, just check on some of these old like comps or like Pokemon that were used in PvP. Now, none of these are really comps, to be fair. I'm trying to find another comp. None of anything that's not EV trained. All comps were EV trained properly. That was very, very important. This Venusaur comp, look at this. Okay, this might, there's no way this was a comp. To be, this is even too bad for that. But this was EV trained. That's hilarious. Blastoise. Old PokeMMO was the Wild West, man. It was a lot. We were just, we were so bad at the game. And it's been beautiful to see it evolve. That's crazy. A 3x31 would have been insanely rare back then. Wow, wait, this is awesome. Someone in chat just linked me this. They said this is an Alakazam that I won from a catch event back in 2013. I don't remember exactly how catch events, what the like how that worked, because obviously this is well, I don't I'm actually confused. It's not even Euro T. Is this true? Not to be skeptical, obviously, of your story, I guess. I'm just like, I'm just confused. What is this OT? Number one, the EVs, I don't remember what catch event prizes were back then. I do remember sometimes they would give out, catch events did exist back in 2013. Sometimes when they handed out shiny prizes for catch events or PvP tournaments, they would randomly roll all the stats. Was an unofficial. Okay, that makes sense. I was confused on this. Gotcha. That makes sense. So it's still really cool that you have this. Like, yeah. So, okay, got you. This was an unofficial catch event prize. This was a prize for an unofficial event. Like, this was considered amazing back in the day. This Rash Alakazam, 31 attack, 10 speed. This was considered like, wow, what a good Alakazam. That's so fun. Like, to the point where it was a prize for an event. Like, that's hilarious. But yeah, like when they give out like old shiny prizes or whatever, they used to randomly roll all the stats. And then it used to be Squirtle OT, usually was like the OT of the developer that spawned the prizes in. Dude, a massive shout out and much love to Ivers on an insane accomplishment. Bro just said that he got his first ever 100 million. Is that cash? He said he made 35 mil during this one event. I finally hit my milestone of 100 mil. 100 mil Pokeyen and PokeMMO. Dude. Insanely endgame milestone. Congratulations, man. Dude, who's buying out the Leppa market? What is happening? they were 7. This is like obviously a short-term dumb thing. These were like 740 Pokeyen like 20 minutes ago. Someone's actually like there's 102 Leppas on the whole market. My bad, gang. What shiny hunter is like stocking up on Leppas towards the the event's over, I've made my investments. There's the farmers. Hey, Leppa farmers, all my K-Konas, all my farmers, list your berries, brother. Shout out to all farmers. Is Leppa farming a hard grind? Great question. It's kind of the opposite. Leppa farming takes like some of the least time for good profit in PokeMMO. It takes consistency and like discipline. That sounds like such a dramatic word to describe berry farming in PokeMMO, but Leppa farming, you make about 115k profit or so per day, I believe, around that, give or take 10k or whatever. The problem is if you mess up once and your berries die, you lose like 700k. So if you successfully, in all the seeds, if you successfully berry farm for 1 week and then you miss 1 day, you lose all your profits for that whole week, right? But it only takes like 15 to 30 minutes. I was slow. I was like, you can do like 15 minutes to like check your berries like each morning type thing. So like berry farming is really good pokeyen per time investment, but it's just, you have to be consistent. Dude, this is beautiful. Is this from a swarm during the event? Also, your IGN is just perfect. Wasabi Frog, from Wasabi Frog, got himself a secret shiny Monferno. This has got to be from a swarm, right? That's secret shiny Monferno from a swarm during the event is like stuff of legends. This is, and I don't mean this in a negative sense, more of just like a how insanely big this is. This is probably the best shiny you'll ever catch in PokeMMO throughout your, like, this is just insane. It doesn't get better than this. A rare secret shiny from an event swarm is ludicrous. It's gorgeous, man. Congratulations. You should be fucking incredibly happy, incredibly proud. You seem to be. That's insane, man. Alrighty, fellas, a 5-hour stream, we call that good enough in my book. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a fun time, but I'm getting tuckered out towards the end of the event. The final stream will be tomorrow for the event. I will see you guys then. I hope you've enjoyed the event as much as, at least 10% as much as I have. Like this video if you enjoyed it, dislike if not, subscribe for daily Pokemon videos. I do upload every single day. Follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below if you're interested in that. If you want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal and Venmo do allow me to be here, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys for the final day of the event. Once again, that is tomorrow or today if you're watching the stream recap. Good luck, fellas. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here. I wanted to take this second to say thank you so much for watching the entire video. It is thanks to people like you I'm able to make the content that I do, as well as everybody whose name is listed here. That's it for me. Have a fantastic day.